Dear viewers, due to continuous rise in the number of COVID cases and the fears of a new wave, we are forced to switch the program to voiceover mode for a few days. As soon as the situation gets back to normal, we'll be back with the original format of the program. Thank you for your cooperation.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the news series. I am Pooja Devedi and today I will enlighten you about the first ever India Central Asia Summit, which has been held under the chairmanship of India. So these are the many points of discussion. We will talk about it from the perspective of preliminary exams. The facts are important. And from the perspective of mains, we have to talk about the India and Central Asia relations, the significance, what are the common points of interest, challenges and way forward. And in the last, we have a question for you. So the first ever India Central Asia Summit has happened and it has been chaired by India itself. And this shows how we are cozying up with Central Asia, how central is Central Asia to India's idea of regional security and integrity, also development. So today's summit had three goals. First was to make clear that mutual cooperation between India and Central Asia is necessary for regional security and prosperity. Here we are talking about Afghanistan and of course Pakistan and the Russia-Ukrainian crisis. And the Prime Minister said that he wanted to make it clear that Central Asia is central to India's vision of an integrated and stable neighborhood. The second was to have an effective structure to effectuate whatever cooperation is there. It will pave the way for the establishment of a platform for regular interaction among these stakeholders. The third is to prepare an ambitious roadmap for the cooperation between India and Central Asia, which will enable us indeed to adopt an integrated approach for regional connectivity and cooperation. So in the background, let me shed a light upon that currently the 6 countries had a mechanism, but that was at the foreign ministers, level of foreign ministers, which was called the India Central Asia Dialogue. And its third meeting was also virtually hosted by New Delhi in December. And as I told you about this summit is very important and it was in a virtual mode itself, under the chairmanship of India. Top national security officials of all 5 Central Asian states also participated in the Delhi Regional Security Dialogue on Afghanistan, which was hosted by India in November. And here is the entire map section which is showing you about the Central Asia. So Central Asia consists of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and because of its proximity, one or the another country is having a border with Afghanistan. See, for us, 3 countries of prominence have a border with Afghanistan: Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. And with respect to Russia and Ukrainian crisis, Kazakhstan is much more closer to Russia. So why do we need to talk about Central Asia? Is because of sheer reason that there is instability and uncertainty in Central Asia right now. Let's move forward and talk about the India-Central Asia relations. So, in times of modern India, since the emergence of Central Asian republics as independent countries, that was in the early 1990s after the fall of the erstwhile Soviet, New Delhi has been trying to establish ties with them. And as the Prime Minister has said, that 30 years of diplomatic relation between India and Central Asia has been achieved. This is not a short lead for India and Central Asia. India's trade with the 5 Central Asian republics of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan was, although below $2 billion in 2018, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the two-way trade mostly comprising of oil was worth $1.9 billion during 2020-2021. So this is what we need to expand. Kazakhstan, if we talk from the bilateral relation between India and Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan is a key supplier of uranium to India and also the country's largest trade partner in the region, in Central Asia. Prelims fact. As part of a unique experiment in UN peacekeeping, Kazakh troops are a part of Indian battalion in the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, and the 6th rotation is currently underway. The two sides have also a regular joint military exercise named is Kazind. And Kazakhstan is home to around 8,000 Indians, including 5,000 medical students. With respect to Kyrgyzstan, India has a strategic partnership with Kyrgyzstan, where it has established 5 telemedicine centers. India has provided the country a line of credit of $200 million in 2019. The two countries have an annual joint military exercise called Khanjar. Kyrgyzstan also is home to more than 15,000 Indian students. With respect to Tajikistan, The India-Tajik Friendship Hospital is a symbol of India's strong cooperation and defense with its strategic partner, Tajikistan, and the two countries have a very similar position on Afghanistan. Uzbekistan, also a strategic partner of India, it is a part of trilateral working group for the development of Chabahar port. It has been provided a line of credit of $1 billion in 2018, and 4 projects worth Rs 450 million have already been approved. Several Indian universities and pharmaceutical companies have established a presence in Uzbekistan. From significance point of view, first is the energy security. First, Uzbekistan is rich in gas and is a significant local producer of gold together with Kyrgyzstan for India. Tajikistan has enormous hydropower potential and Turkmenistan has the fourth largest gas reserve in the world. With respect to regional security, to tackle the challenges of terrorism, drug trafficking and arms smuggling, we need Central Asia. Also to keep in check on the rise of radical Islamist group. Strategic location of Central Asia is the central point of geopolitical maneuvering affecting India's relation with, very importantly, China, Pakistan, Afghanistan and US also and Russia as well. Indian tea and pharmaceutical industries, they have acquired a strong foothold in the Central Asian market. The rapid economic development of Central Asia has sparked a construction boom and development of sectors like IT and tourism, where India can definitely play a huge role. If we talk about the common points of interest, traditionally, if we talk about the importance of international north-south transport corridor, it cannot be undermined because India developed Chabahar port in Iran for its higher ambitions of getting a role to play in the north-south transport corridor, which is basically a multimodal transportation established on 12th September, that was 2000, in St. Petersburg. And by Iran, Russia and India, these three were the key players for it. It was expanded to include 11 new members, and that includes mostly the member of Central Asia. And it wants to have a 70 to 100 kilometer long multi-mode network of not only ship, not only rail, but route as well. And the corridor is going to be very important to connect Indian Ocean and Persian Gulf to Caspian Sea. And for this very reason, Central Asia is very important for counter-terrorism efforts such as perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of terror, specifically in this current era when Afghanistan is more unstable than ever. So it has also importantly called on the world community to implement relevant UN resolutions, global counter-terrorism strategy, and a financial action task force standards so that all can prosper together without any terrorism. Also, Central Asia has reiterated support of their countries for permanent membership of India's in an expanded and reformed UN Security Council, welcomed the ongoing non-permanent tenure of India as well. And with respect to Indian technical economic cooperation, it is also a common point of interest. So is the situation in Afghanistan and Russia, Ukraine. So current agenda that New Delhi, that is India, and many other countries of Central Asia should focus on is the possible mainstreaming of Taliban, because although nobody recognizes Taliban except for Pakistan as the legitimate government, and by the thing that legitimizing Pakistan's backing for the group, Central Asian countries and India, mostly Central Asian countries, are demanding that the Taliban regime be recognized as somebody who are inclusive in nature. They should not go back to the time period where they were degraded to be called just a terrorist group. Muslim majority Central Asian countries that promote themselves as moderate Islamic states have expressed concerns that Taliban rule is giving fillip to not only radicalization but extremism and outpouring of migrants from Afghanistan. With respect to crisis in Kazakhstan, the Moscow-led Collective Security Treaty Organization helped Kazakhstan to keep a check on the violence. But the problem is that what if, because Russian president has said that if they want to go back to the pre-Soviet falling era, and Kazakhstan was a part of the Soviet, and Kazakhstan's invitation, which was given to Moscow to come and help with the rebellion with the help of CSTO, that also might give a fillip to Russia's ambition that if they can annex Ukraine, they can also annex Kazakhstan. And if we talk about the trade, currently International Solar Alliance is a very big part for India. And trade, if we talk about trade, the countries, they are expected to propose ways to increase trade between India and region. And post-pandemic recovery, specifically with respect to tourism and foreign abroad students. They are also very important. There are many challenges. Because of the proximity of Pakistan and China, it poses a much more bigger challenge to India than anything else. First, there is volatility and instability across not only Afghanistan but also the Russian-Ukraine crisis. There is lack of consensus on Afghanistan because not all Central Asian countries are on the same page as India on dealing with Taliban. And with the exceptions of Tajikistan, all have exchanged high-level diplomatic visits to Kabul. While at least two, that is Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan, they have reopened their mission in Afghanistan. That's a big alarming. That is something alarming because through this they are legitimizing Taliban. There is growing proximity to Pakistan and China. Pakistan is being cozied up by Central Asia. Certain countries are doing that of Central Asia. And China wants to have a broader trade partnership. It wants to reach $70 billion of trade with Central Asian countries. It is also offering $500 million to Central Asia for developmental projects. So this is the debt trap, the infamous and obnoxious debt trap of China. The Belt and Road Initiative as well as the Quadrilateral Traffic and Trade Agreement with China is another big challenge. China and Russia are competitors in Central Asia, which makes it much more volatile than any other region. Also, with respect to way forward, India has Central Asian countries. They have been keen to have India as a partner. India is a liberal country. India is a much more secure country. With if we compare the regime of China and India, India is a better one. And they have sought to diversify their strategic ties. But India needs to capitalize on that. Central Asian regional dynamics will become very interesting indeed, with India as a part of them. Bilateral relations should not be just, it should not be like we are having a multilateral partnership, multilateral platforms such as Shanghai Cooperation Organization and many other, but bilateral relations should be strengthened in order to make the multilateral, if India wants to influence the multilateral organizations much more, it needs to strengthen its bilateral relations. Central Asian countries have admitted India to the Ashgabat Agreement. India joined the Ashgabat Agreement only in the year 2018. And the aim of this agreement was to establish an international multimodal transit corridor between Central Asia and Persian Gulf. And it was first ever signed by Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Oman and Qatar. That was in April 2011. So, Ashgabat Agreement, although it came, India did join it at a much later stage. But it is much more important for India to capitalize and build on whatever agreement has been made earlier. It allows India a lot of access and India should not take it lightly. So the question is, Central Asia is central to India's objective of regional security and integrity. Comment in 250 words. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.